Your dog won't be around forever, you know. Your kids might not either. Welcome back to Lives on Reddit. Don't forget to subscribe to Be for Lifer. I, 28 female, have an aunt named Karen. Seriously. And she is the biggest typical boomer breeder soccer mommy with 6 crotch goblins known to man. Not only am I a lesbian, but I hate the little pests. I usually just change the subject when she brings up breeding, but the bingos are non-stop. She has met my fiance of 9 years, getting married sometime at the end of the year if things go well with the pandemic situation. But she still insists that I change my mind on the whole homosexuality thing and find the right man who I'll want kids with. She's homophobic, sexist, internalized misogynistic, heteronormative, racist, called my Japanese fiance an offensive slur, etc. It's sickening because my nephew confided in me that he's gay, and she said the worst things about me when I'm not around and have condemned all gay people. Suffice to say, she's a horrible person. All the rest of my family is sane. Even my 89-year-old conservative grandma has taken me to Pride several years before she couldn't drive anymore, and has stuck up for me countless of times when Karen goes on homophobic rants. But sadly, she's still around at my family get-togethers because family. Anyways, the other day I was visiting Grandma when Karen showed up with her failed abortions. I tried to ignore her, but Grandma asked me about my new puppy. Karen decided to go on her bingo spiel and said, "You got a puppy? You'll have to get rid of it when a mini comes along." I said, "Nah, I'm good." So she continued, "Your dog won't be around forever, you know." Then what? So I had enough. I had enough. Oh, I had enough. I looked at her and calmly said, "Well, you never know what could happen to your kids. They might not be around forever either. So then what?" Oh man, the gasp this woman made, it was beautiful. She looked so offended. She screamed some incoherent nonsense at me and Grandma told her to quiet down. She still screeched and screeched, but I just simply hugged and kissed Grandma goodbye and left. Some of my family is behind me on this, like my dad and Grandma, but some other family like my mom, Karen's sister, said I went too far. I told her compared to bigoted BS I have heard from this woman for years, I'm allowed to give her a taste of her own medicine. My fiance thought it was amazing as well. Well, there's my little story of putting a breeder bingo in their place. Hope it gave you a smile. Glad to have found a sub with similar child-free experiences. Edit? So this blew up quite a bit. Sorry I couldn't respond much. Me and my girl were at the beach today. Unfortunately, I don't have pet tax yet because the puppy is too young to be away from his mother yet, so I don't actually have him yet. Sorry everybody, but I'll be sure to post a photo of him once I have him. It's funny how it's okay to put up with that member of the family, but if someone that person offends over and over finally speaks up, they are the problem. And you're not wrong. Anything could happen. My mom had 4 kids. My youngest sister died from cancer at the ripe old age of 26. My brother is a delinquent man-child who knocked up a psycho ex-girlfriend. He's an alcoholic that refuses to quit drinking or doing drugs, jumps job to job, and overall is a failure who thinks he's the greatest thing to ever exist. My other sister doesn't speak to our mother due to the abuse endured. That just leaves me. I keep a very minimal, low contact with my mom, just so she's not totally alone. I could very easily not talk to her at all. Her and her upbringing of me, making me a caretaker for my siblings from the time I was 12 until I left for a purposefully far away college is one of the biggest reasons I'm not having any children. But I've got 3 dogs and we foster dogs. One of them died in February and it was awful. He was my first son, so my first dog loss. But we gave him the best life and he was a great boy. So now we've rescued another dog and we'll give him and our other dogs the best life too. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Cool. Taste of her own medicine. Bet it felt really good to you. I was in some line at the grocery store watching some demon act like a prick. I don't know what I said or looked like, but one of the hens, Moo I think, said, "Oh, and your child is well behaved?" They always assume you have one. I said before I thought, I was never stupid enough to breed. I tend to try and be diplomatic. You should have heard the gasps of horror. Total silence. I've had one friend unalive himself and one friend overdosed. 2 girls I knew in college survived the Boston bombing, then died in a car crash during spring break. I know so many people my age that have died and some of them were only children. It's insane that parents have kids to fill some void or take care of them when they're older. Kids can die too. Am I the only one who's bothered when people call kids failed abortions and pests in this subreddit? I'm Childfree, but I don't hate kids. Especially since your nephew confided in you with his sexuality, yet you still call him a failed abortion? I don't get it. No, I agree. The term failed abortions bothers me too, especially since in the same post, she talks about opening up her home to her nephew. I think she means cousin though, in this case. If he's her aunt's child, then he's a cousin. It's a really dehumanizing term to use to describe someone you seem to care about a lot in this case. Calling children failed abortions is why other subs call this sub hateful, and I don't want to be automatically judged as hateful just because I'm child-free. Mod reply. Our pet term for kids are meant to be applied when the kids are acting like terrible people due to crap parenting. Original poster didn't get the memo on it. There is a long history of using those terms here, and that isn't going to change without a majority response indicating that the readers here want that change in our annual survey. From the FAQ. Are all children crotch fruit or demon spawn? No. Crotch fruit is a slang for an obscenely obnoxious young child who can't seem to behave in any place at any time. Typically has clueless progenitors who are too busy getting drunk and socializing to watch their children. The bane of waitstaff and service personnel everywhere. Or the uncivilized offspring of permissive or uninvolved parents. Urban Dictionary. It can generally be used as a derogatory word for a child or offspring by some people. But on the sub, we don't name call well-behaved children. Crotch fruit is generally the result of a lack of parenting by a breeder, mombi, daddict, or BNP. BNP equals breeder, not parent. If they were being raised by parents, the young ones would be well-behaved children, and not just crotch fruit. Same are for other colorful words that designate children such as demon spawn, snot goblin, etc. Is there anywhere I can find out more about you guys' terminology? Yes, on the subreddit's main page. Even as a straight white basic A Midwestern dude, I almost wanted to stop reading like 1/3 through the first paragraph because trigger. What the freak, man? Normally I'd say what you said crossed the line, but it sounds like you were backed into a corner, and this type of incident is exactly why we find ourselves in the current climate. It's just unbelievable how people can still be so freaking far behind the times. All my wishes to you and your fiancé for the happiness you deserve. LOL, maybe you're lucky and she never speaks to you ever again. I don't know why it's alright for her talking crap about you and your life choices too many times, but you stood up for yourself this one time and you're the bad person? Like, what the frick? It's because people don't like it when others rock the boat. It's better to have one person being the punching bag and keep life steady than for the entire boat to tip over and have everyone soaked. The aunt needed a taste of her own medicine. If no one calls out butt circles due to manners, then we only get more butt circles. It sounds like some of her kids won't be around her forever either, because they're going to disown her as soon as they can. My nephew is 18 and is planning on moving in with his boyfriend soon and cut all contact with her, but my house is open for him if he needs a place to stay for any reason. He doesn't sound like a failed abortion. Poor kiddo. I bet he's a lot to handle, but you could definitely be a guiding light for him. I hope he gets out of that house. Yeah, I'm child-free, and I think it's super crappy to call her nephew a failed abortion, knowing that he's dealing with a homophobic and probably abusive mother. That language is just as abusive coming from original poster. Yeah, I definitely cringed when I read that. When I move out, I'm 18, but I don't have a job yet, and it will still be a few years before I can get my own place. I will get a puppy and probably name it Grunge. I will protect Grunge until he or she dies. When he or she does, I will not switch to a kid. That dog will be all I'll need in life. The fact that you'll name your puppy Grunge fits so perfectly with your username, Moist Corn Biscuit, and I'm 100% here for this kind of awesomeness. Heart. Not only can kids die as well, but children will grow up to be adults where they have the right to decide if they want to keep in contact with their mother or not. Some parents apparently seem to think that if they birth a child, then the child will care for them until the parent dies. It's not necessarily the case. At least with a dog, unless they run away or get lost, they will want to be with you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't leave. Subscribe. Be a for lifer. Yeah.